Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to World Renovation, Henford and Bagley edition. We're returning once more to the Thistle Teapot, a British inspired tea house run by the lovely Parvati and her cute tabby cat Rani. They are inside at the moment, cocking up a storm. Well, maybe Rani isn't, but it's been a couple of weeks since I've worked on my World Renovation series and I've missed it dearly. I hope you've enjoyed the Enchanted by Nature speed builds I've been putting out on my channel, but I'm really happy to get back into the world of Henford and getting into this style of building. Now, I've done a little bit of work away from camera in the couple of weeks that we visited this lot and made sure to perfect the landscaping and add some extra details. So I figured before we get into build mode and into the interiors, I'd show you some updates that we've done to this lot. So I've made use of the tool mod and brought the landscaping out to best hide the red and yellow flowers that we had outside of the Thistle Teapot. I also included a bench for a bit of gameplay and the all-important British red telephone box. I thought that would be a nice charming addition to this part of the world. We will probably add one of those to the pub that I have in mind for Finchwick village a bit further down. And swing around here, made sure to add a little bit more ivy to blend in the wisteria. I thought it was looking a touch bare. Thank you to the lovely comment a couple of weeks ago that mentioned that if I was going for realistic landscaping, the flowers themselves wouldn't really be nestled under bushes, which would make sense. So I've made sure to refine that now and brought the flowers more to the borders and the exterior part of the landscaping. Introduced another blossom tree over here. And this is where I did most of the work away from camera. Just made sense. I had to jut out the back part of the ground floor just to make some extra room for a downstairs bathroom and a kind of secondary bit to the kitchen, which we'll get into detail later. I made use also of those fireplace. It's kind of a rug, I guess you could say, but just to create a faux pavement. I didn't want to add any floor swatches to this side of the build because I hate when it goes right to the edge of the build and it looks very unrealistic. But I added a drain pipe, so that was kind of a novel idea and very realistic for a British build. Also some bins for the actual business themselves. And then a few bits more of lighting and a window box we added in the roofline. But all in all, it came together very nicely. We've also peppered the lot with a few toadstools, some various flowers and things. I think it looks very charming. I'm very happy with how it turned out. So without further ado, let's get into build mode and we can make a start on the interiors. So this is a space that we have to work with. This is the main kind of dining area and the all-important VIP area for Lady Henford and her WI cohorts. A bathroom for the patrons to use. We have a two-sided kitchen here, so I imagine in this part will be the food prep and the dishwashing area. Also trying to have a central stove so customers can look in and see what sweet treats are being concocted. Speaking of sweet treats, I've gone into the gallery and found this object with some pre-made cakes, some macarons and cupcakes, just for ease in build mode. Parvati is actually really high up in the baking skill, so I'll be sure to swap out these objects for some delicacies that she's created just for some realism, with the all-important jam and cream and for scones. And then in terms of wallpapers, I've picked out this alternating one from Cottage Living. I just really like the wainscoting and the floral motif in this sagey green colour. I did try the blue shade, but it didn't really work in this space, unfortunately. I've chosen this very antique looking stripped beech wood flooring and these beamed swatch for the ceiling. So it was quite a nice touch, since it's probably an older building that I had in mind really. And then reflected the stone that we've used from the outside in, just for a bit of accent wallage. Just ignore this, this will be covered up with some cabinets. And of course kept the lace curtains, and I had to use some platforms since we'd sunken this down just so I could get some of this detailing of the panelling in. let's start with the front entrance. I'd really like to have a welcome mat and maybe a coat rack as well. I think that'd be quite a cute touch. So let's go and sequin out, shall we? How is everyone as well? As I mentioned in the first intro to this video, I hope everyone enjoyed my Enchanted by Nature speed builds. I've actually really enjoyed playing around with that pack and just seeing what kind of fantasy kind of buildings I can create on the spot with little to no influence. It's been nice to incorporate some cottage living objects into those style of builds as well. I think these two packs really go well together, strangely. Yeah, I think I'm going to use this from the front pack. I could be wrong. Quite like a coat rack. And we also, from memory, have an umbrella stand, and I think that's quite quintessential to the British rain that we definitely need one for this area. Are you going to... No, you're not. Thank you very much. I think let's make a slightly lighter swatch though. Yeah. And then if I type in umbrella, will it come up with the umbrella stand? I'd hope so. Yes. Thank you very much. And maybe that's... No. Then that's going to be the best swatch. Nice. Oh yes, before I forget as well, I also use the cottage living chandeliers in that sage green as well. So it's really nice warm tones in this room going on. Now, I was trying to concoct ways to make Lady Evelyn's area feel as private as possible without adding actual walls. So I'm wondering if I can use the dividers that came with the... Is it Cozy Bistro pack? It's a kit. Maybe in a different swatch. Do we have a beach one? Yes, we do. I think I'm going to include that. Trial it and see if it works. So if I just put it slightly there, I'm wondering if it's going to jump since we have the platform. Try my best to keep it touching. Can we go in a bit tighter? That's what she said. Oh god, demonetized immediately. Yeah, I think that's nice. Adds a nice bit of dimension to this room as well. I think the first area I'd really like to focus on is getting the basis of the dining, well, the table and chairs down. It's not really a dining room. It's just, you know, patrons to get some tea and coffee and some cookies and cakes. And I think I might use the same table and chairs that we've used for the outside. I was playing around away from camera with some different alternatives, but I think it makes most sense to have matching table and chairs to the outside. Now, quite like a corner moment here. See if I can make that apparent. Need to get some spatial awareness going and try and fit in enough seating so it feels cozy enough and realistic enough, I guess, for being a very popular tea house in Finchwick Village. So if you put a two-seater there and a two-seater there, the Sims should be able to navigate. And I might put one... Ooh. Don't want to interrupt this platform. I think I might be able to get away with that. And hopefully the Sims can get around without many issues. I'll always play test things anyway. And let's bring in the floral arrangements. I sized these down twice, just so they didn't overwhelm the table. Can you imagine having that between you when you're trying to talk? And let's bring in some menus. The dine out kit, for once, actually came in handy. Let's size you down, maybe just one. Menus have been added, just to dress it up a little bit. I'd quite like some wall decoration here. I'm wondering if we had some plates. I know we've got some decorative plates. It's just whether they come up in the catalogue, which of course they don't. I'm thinking they're probably going to be in wall decorations. Maybe let's navigate to the end of the catalogue. It's not these ones I had in mind, it's kind of a simpler version. Let me try and figure out where these are in the catalogue. Aha, I found them. This is the swatch I was thinking about. A little less ornate, but still in keeping with that twee British interior. There's also quite like a shelf in this corner. All the reference images that I was looking at had a lot going on the walls, and it was all very cluttered. And I want to try and replicate that, but not entirely, because I also want this to be playable on different types of computers, not just gaming computers. I do like to overdo things with details in my builds, but I understand it's not always for everyone, so trying to think of the people. I swear we had a really decorative shelf that came with one of the kits from memory. Let me just try and figure out where that was from. It was from the Paranormal pack, which I was surprised about. And I've used it in this kind of bluish, bright blue swatch with yellow. Thought it was quite a nice contrast. Brings a bit of energy into the room. And added some flowers, of course. Now, in terms of rugs, I was debating whether to have ones with pattern or use that kind of rattan-y texture we have, because there's two variations, which I think would lend itself very well to this interior. Yeah, this one and this one. And then we can maybe play around with some scaling and size things down. Maybe if I take you down one, and then that perfectly fits beneath that two-seater. Question remains, do I want to layer them this way or this way? I think I like it this way. Yeah, I think that's nice for that area, not to overdo things. Also, the wallpaper itself is so decorative. Don't want to go too OTT. Now here's also a nice opportunity to have another table, so I might bring in another one to this area. And before we get into Lady Evelyn's private corner, maybe we could add one in this corner, a table and chairs. I think there's plenty enough room to make that apparent. I'm also going to copy over some of the decorative plates, just so there's a nice aspect. It'd be quite nice to have a menu here, I think, given that the counter is there with the till point and the cakes on display. It'd be nice to have a menu board. That's more restaurant. How about this one? Oh, that's nice. Swatch. Let's go for this one. Yeah, that's nice. And it has some of the baked goods on it that I imagine Pavati is very talented at baking. Yeah, I made sure to level up her skills with 10 cooking and 10 baking, so then she can create some really intricate designs. I did look, I could be wrong, but we don't have scones in the game. But I'm going to see if once we get into the gameplay portion of the build, once we finish, I can add it to the menu that Sims can order from. But who knows? Maybe it's not a thing. It's probably too British, you know? Yeah, I think that's nice. And I think also let's bring in another rug. Maybe size you down though. You cutting in? Ooh, you are slightly. Nice. Lovely. I think as well for this corner, so this will be a doorway that leads into the staff kitchen. And before I forget, I actually added the outlines to this. So we have a public area and also just a employees only area. I'm really happy that we did get this in the game eventually, because it means that we can run businesses now. Well, I don't know how functionally they actually work, but have businesses and also residential space up above. So if not for that pack, we probably wouldn't be able to do this build that successfully. I think maybe we might need a waiter station here. I don't think it's necessary to the build to function, but it'd be quite nice to have some kind of realism where a staff member can take orders or take reservations. Let me just find that, and then we can make a start on Lady Evelyn's VIP corner. Okay, I've added the host station. I did want to use this version and not the more modern one, since it wouldn't really work in this area. I've also added this shelf with some keys, just, you know, property, business-like paraphernalia. And this, I don't really know what these are called. Étagère? Probably butchered that pronunciation, but I just thought it was a nice opportunity to have a corner bit of furniture. And I like that the flowers play into the wallpaper there. Very nice. Don't think we need much else on this wall. I might just shift this over though, so it's a bit more balanced. I also thought it was nice that I used the bunting from the outside. I forgot that there's different variations of the swatches, which I really enjoy. Just thought I'd maybe do the cutout one, since it felt very sweet. Okay, let's make a start on Lady Evelyn's area. Now, I don't know whether to do a table. It's quite a small space. I don't know whether to do a table or some seating, because I'd actually quite like to add a fireplace in this corner. Again, when I was looking at some reference images for these British tea houses, there was fireplaces, and I thought that was quite a novel idea. But we need to make sure we find one that's actually not going to cut into the wall, because I think some of them do. Like this one here, for example. I wonder if we have a smaller variation. This one going to work. Oh, it does. Yeah, I might go for this, you know. In a cream. Yeah, let's do that. Need to make sense of this space as well. Let's grab a rug, so I know where the center point is. And I'd quite like some cabinetry as well, some displays of decorative plates and crockery and things like that. Let's go to displays. Shimmy on down. Maybe not you, you're a touch too big for this area. How about this hutch actually from Cottage Living? I like the blue accented, blue and white accented plates. I think that's nice. I also pulled out this one. I think this is from the base game. I could be wrong. A hutch. It didn't come in this matching wood swatch, unfortunately, but it does have the matching plates. So I figured as long as there's a little bit of matchingness, things will work just fine. Yeah. Also made use of the new Enchanted by Nature window dressing for this area. I was playing around with the net curtains, lace curtains, but it did not make sense having the, whatever this is called, hinge, floating in the middle of the window. Let's find some, I think I'm going to go for some seating rather than a table, just to really differentiate this space from the rest. Just scale down the rug using the tool mod. I think the original scale was a little bit too big for this space. So in terms of seating, I'd quite like something that looks very comfortable, but not too casual. Still with that air of formality that we know Lady Henford loves to revel in. I'm wondering whether we have one with a pattern as well. I think that'd be quite a nice touch to have. Oh, what about this one? Is this from, oh, is it the Parenthood pack? Just so, yeah, it is from the Parenthood pack. And I think even in the swatch it might work. Quite like the preppiness of the stripe. And the wood swatch works as well, which is music to my ears. Let's go for you, shall we? I think we might only be able to include 4 in this space. Just shift things around so nothing's cutting in too much. I'm gonna tuck you in a little bit more. It's a nice semicircle where they can all gossip and build the tea, both literally and figuratively. Yeah, I like that. I need a coffee table, I think. Although I don't know if we have a coffee table small enough in a circular, because we have these gigantic boys. I wonder if we could maybe use an accent table instead. But one of them that looks kind of formal enough to work in this space. What about this one actually from Realm of Magic? Not too high. Could do it in that light wood swatch as well, which is perfect. Yeah, let's do that. And then if I put in teapot, will it come up with the tray? I think it's from Cottage Living, potentially. It's got the floral motif on it. Let's see if it pops up. Yes, this one. It's not from Cottage Living, but this is the one I had in mind. Very nice. And then I quite like to add some plantage in this corner. Maybe keep with the theme of it having this kind of, what are they called? That flower. Yeah, this basically. What is that flower called again? On the tip of my tongue. Should we do it in a blue? Those nice yellow accents. And I also want to add some bouquets of flowers on the hutch as well. Let's go for this one with the urn-like vase. I've also added it to the fireplace section. Pulled out this wall decoration, this nice floral wreath. And what else did I do? Oh yes, also pulled out this wicked moment. Thought that played nicely with the tones and the textures that we've got going on. Really want to try and achieve that this build is very twee, very cozy. And then from memory, I think from the paranormal pack, we have a photo object that looks very vintage inspired. Where am I going? What is it? Where is paranormal? Aha. Not nifty knitting, gosh, not that pack. This one. This book of silhouettes. In a blue. Yeah, exactly what I had in mind. Maybe just put you in a bit of a jauntier angle. Very nice. I like that semicircle moment. And it nicely kind of contrasts with the table and chairs, but not too much. So it looks silly. Yeah. That's the dining area complete. I think there's a nice balance. I'm chuffed with that. Okay, let's move into the all-important bathroom. It's not going to be the most interesting space, but I know what toilet I have in mind, and I actually wish we had more of these kind of Victorian-esque top toilets. This one. Yes. And oh, let's just go for the white with this gold accent. I think it's quite nice. And then let's add the loo roll, of course. In as close to a matching gold swatch as possible. In terms of basin, not really sure. Let's go with this one from High School Years. It kind of closely resembles the gold swatch that we've got going on. And for mirror, I think something decorative. I think this one's perfect. I wonder if it comes in a golder swatch. It does. Perfect. I'd quite like to have more kind of commercial element here as well with the... I wonder if it's from Dine Out, actually. Let's go to all objects. With a soap dispenser and a paper towel dispenser. Is it not from Dine Out? I thought it was. Let me find those in the catalogue and I'll place them. These are what I was thinking of. They're actually from Get to Work, that Tailored EP that we had. Yeah, I had to size this down a few times though because it looked gigantic and comically oversized for a sim to use. There's also had a bin as well. Maybe just a small one. This one. I think you come in a lighter swatch. Oh, the creamy yellow one is quite nice. Lovely. Add some flowers into this area just to jazz it up a little bit. Also wondering if we can add the baby changing table just so it makes it accessible for Sims that visit this lot. I can't remember what pack it came in though. It could be growing together. I feel like that is the likeliest scenario. Yeah, this one from the pack. It's a bit kitsch, but you know, needs must in a commercial lot. I think that's fine, and I think I'll keep the spotlight there as well. I was going to swap it out for a chandelier, but I think it's a touch too grand for such a small room. Nice. Let's move on to the kitchen area, shall we? Okay, normally I wouldn't have the walls down, but I just wanted to show you the swatch that we're using for the cabinets and this gorgeous country kitchen style sink. Really love this worn green shade with the light timber woodwork surface, so put the walls back up. I think I might need to put the grid on for this. So I have a sink there with a usable counter space. Let's do a corner moment. And then I think here, let's add a fridge. Oh. Did this come from that new kit pack that we got? Don't let us use the one from the cottage living pack, or maybe something a bit more commercially led. Maybe this one. I think the cottage living fridge is a bit more well suited to an actual kitchen. Yeah, let's do this one. And then I know from memory we have some apron swatches, and I think that would really tie in nicely. I also need to remember, once we get into gameplay, for Pavati to hire some staff members. We need someone with very good baking skills. Make that apparent. Yeah, let's do a beige and white swatch. So don't we have a, all these things are coming to my head. Fire extinguisher. Don't know what I would call it, but just to make it apparent that this is a commercial property. Oh, it didn't come up. Let me just find that. I found the fire extinguisher. I also brought out the fan because I know in gameplay it moves, so I think that'd be quite a nice moment for a commercial room. Also brought out this dish rack for a nice bit of realistic clutter. And this kind of clutter object with some of those matching flowers that we've been using throughout the build. I think as well we should probably add in a dishwasher, perhaps a mini one. Come with a goldish tone? Yes, you do. Oh, yeah, I think that's a nice object to use in here. It's quite a slender space to work with, but the footpath, it should be fine for everything. I'm wondering whether I need to get a vent here or not, although since I've added the ivy it might swell it up. Might keep it there for now. Oh, and let's add a bin as well in this corner. Nice. Move on to the main kitchen area. So I'm going to carry over the same cabinets that we've used. I've also made a start actually and created this till point area. I love the net curtains on this. Nice bit of extra detail there. I actually think in general this kitchen is really pretty that came with the cottage living pack. So let's grab some cabinets. Now, as I mentioned at the start, I'd quite like to have the stove in the center. Don't worry too much about all this sticking out. We'll try and cover it as best we can with some cabinetry. Let's get a corner piece here. And I might put an end piece here and then a cabinet to fill that section in. Another corner piece. And maybe just a full cabinet moment. As for top cabinets, I think I might just use the single ones across the center part of this wall and then be a bit experimental and use cabinets that aren't in the right place, because I don't think I want this big corner moment since we can't really fit it above the windows area. So maybe let's use the end piece because there's a nice bit of detail there. And then we can probably get away with a corner here. Don't know if I like that that's matching. Perhaps get away with it with an end piece? Kind of done it back to front, this kitchen, but I think that's fine. It's more important for this viewpoint to be interesting with detail. In terms of a stove, we need one that's going to produce good quality baked goods. This is 6, and that's 7. Looks a bit too modern though. I might go for this one. In that swatch as well, it's quite nice. And then, ooh, we need lots of appliances, that's for sure. I'm going to bring out a coffee machine and a kettle. I know that's important. And also some other appliances that will make some sweet treats. So give me 5 seconds. Okay, so we have a coffee machine. I think this is from the Cozy Bistro kit, which came in handy. This gorgeous green hued kettle. Very happy we have kettles in the game now. Also pulled in this tactical tiffin, which I'm not really sure what that is, but I just thought it was appropriate for the area. We have a mixer and also this waffle maker. Since I imagine the menu, Pavati makes some delectable waffles. I think that's nice amount of appliances without being silly. I'd like to add some extra clutter to this area, so in this part of the kitchen, it'll be where the drinks are made, so it'd be quite nice to have some teas in this area. And also we need to use the tea tray that we've used throughout the dining bit. Yeah, maybe this. I have to take you off the grid though, just so you're not getting in the way of anything. And ooh, don't we have that cookbook? I think it's this Nonna's cookbook. Yeah, maybe not with a pizza on it though. I think that will work. Again, take it off the grid so it's not cutting into much. Oh, can I get away with it there? Yes, I can. I'm going to pick out some more extra details just to bring this kitchen to life. And I also want to look for kind of a half moment that will sit above the stove area. And I think I've got one in mind. It's kind of a wood one with a floral motif. So give me 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. That kitchen clutter kit really came in handy actually for some of the details that we added. So we've got some mittens and mitts, some utensils, the all-important tea tray. Also added some scales as well. I thought this made sense in this era since it's the baking corner, you know. Bhavati needs to have all the correct measures. Got another scale as well next to the waffle machine. And this object as well, which is not usable, just purely decorative, but I thought it was quite nice that it had sweet treats in. And what I was mentioning earlier, it's a shelf. I think this is from one of the first kits I ever bought actually, which is the Country Kitchen kit. And this really adds a nice finishing touch to this kitchen area and brings in the floral pink flowers that we've got on the wallpaper. Looks a really kind of lived in kitchen that still services a commercial area, but still has a bit of personality as well. I think we'd probably need a mop or a dustpan. I don't know if it'll search up as a mop. I might have to go and scour through the catalogue to find it. I was also wondering whether we need a rug in this area. No, it did not, so let me just grab that. This is the object I was thinking of, the dustpan and brush, just for a bit of realism, you know. Clean up some spillages. I don't think I'll add a mat to this area though. Make use of this gorgeous tile that we've got going on to flow through the archway. But yeah, friends, this is the ground floor of the Thistle and Teapot complete. Really happy with how things came out. Let's go into tab mode just to review our progress so far. Oh, very nice, very nice. Just the right amount of detail, I think, for this area. With some kind of kitschy objects as well. I really enjoy how Lady Evelyn's private corner turned out. She even has her own fireplace. I imagine this area is strictly reserved for her and no one else can book it. Some more tables, nice little menu area. And I enjoy how the kitchen opens out to the customers. Very useful having this on the gallery. Thank you to whoever uploaded that. Let's go through to the bathroom. We're getting there. Baby changing area. Make it apparent that, you know, mothers or fathers of Henford can visit this establishment with their children. Let's go into the staff wing. So we've got the prep room, you can wash dishes, the fridge, produce, etc. And behind the counter where all the magic happens. You can make the all-important teas. Very nice. But for next time, we're moving up to the flat that Parvati lives in with Rani. I've created a floor plan away from camera because it was a bit tricky actually with the window placements, particularly with these front windows and that circular moment. But I don't know whether we'll get this done in one entire part or maybe we could fit it into two. But I think we've made quite a lot of progress today. Very happy. I'm going to leave things on this shot. But thank you so much for watching. If you do like this video, please give it a like and subscribe. I'll leave all my socials in the description box below. And I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.